Wenzel. Welcome to this special edition of Danc News.
My name is Amir Muhovic, and tonight we will be going over the Spanish-American War of 1898.
Joining us now in the field to give us the first two causes, Cameron Wise.
Thanks, Dan. As you can see behind me, there's a lot of yellow. And the first cause of the American-Spanish War just so happens to be yellow journalism. Yellow journalism was basically just sensationalized news. News titans William Randolph Hearst and Joseph Pulitzer fought for circulation by attempting to outdo each other with bold headlines and hair-raising scoops. They invented stories of atrocity in Cuba when there weren't none, and drew sketches of the Spanish to paint them as the bad guy. They also sensationalized the story of the USS Maine. These sensationalized stories influenced the American people to see the Spanish as the bad guys and more support the Spanish-American War. What's this? Oh, it's the Deploy de Leon letter. That's great, because the Deploy de Leon letter is the second cause of the American-Spanish War. The Deploy de Leon letter was a private letter from the Spanish minister in Washington. The letter was stolen from the mail and published by Randolph Hearst. In the letter, President McKinley was described in unflattering terms. After its publication, De Leon resigned, and the public was infuriated. This further enraged the American public. And those are my two causes. Back to you, Dan.
Wow, really interesting stuff, Cam Wise. Thanks to our senior field reporter for those first two interesting causes.
Now on to our senior analyst, Nick Turner, for the next two causes.
Thanks, Dan. In 1898, Washington sent the USS Maine to Cuba for a friendly visit, but it was actually sent there to protect and evacuate Americans in case of any flare-up. On February 15th, 1898, the Maine blew up in the Havana harbor. War-hungry Americans believed it was a submarine mine. 268 people were killed in this explosion, and this was the climax in the pre-war tension between the USS and Spain. As you can see, we're here live at a Spanish reconcentration camp in Cuba. In 1896, a Spanish General Weyler arrived in Cuba. He tried to crush the rebellion by herding many civilians into reconcentration camps. Lacking proper sanitation, these enclosures quickly turned into disease-filled camps. The reconcentration camps gave sympathy of the American people to the revolting Cubans. The people died like dogs there. Back to you, Dan.
Thanks, Nick. Well, that sure is something. And now, to outline our last cause of the Spanish-American War, that's just being the American overall interest in Cuba.
Yes, the U.S. had many reasons to be interested in the tiny Caribbean country. First off, American business held an investment of over $50 million in Cuba. The U.S. also held an annual trade stake of nearly $100 million, which would all be put at risk under Spanish rule.
That's right, Amir. Not to mention that Cuba is a country that lied in the path of the much-anticipated Panama Canal.
Ah, yes, excellent point. Lastly, the U.S. had an interest in Cuba because whoever controlled Cuba controlled the Gulf of Mexico.
True, very true. Well, folks, that just about wraps up this Danc News special edition. I hope you learned about the causes of this exciting war.
From all of us here at Danc News, have a great third block and a great night.